Let me show you what to do with your next paycheck. That way you actually have a system to build wealth step by step. Let's assume that you make $60,000 a year. That's $5,000 a month. The problem with this $5,000 a month is you don't get to keep all that money because you got to pay taxes. After taxes, you will be left around $3,833 a month because you got to pay federal income taxes, you got to pay state income taxes, and you got to pay FICA taxes. Now, when you get this $3,833 a month actually hitting your bank account, the mistake that so many people make is they just start spending money. You pay your rent, you pay your mortgage, you pay your groceries, you pay for some nice stuff here and there, and then you have no money to save and invest. So this is what we're going to do differently. This is how much money we have to play with. Now the question is, how do you divide this money? Because what every wealthy person does is they always save and invest their money before they spend it. So we're going to divide this money up into 3 different buckets. One bucket is going to be your spending money. One bucket is going to be your investing money. One bucket is going to be your savings money. And what I would recommend you do is open up 3 different bank accounts. Most banks will allow you to do it for free. If your bank is charging you money to do this, get a new bank. So you get 3 different bank accounts. And 75% of the money that's left over after taxes is going to go into your spending account. 15% of whatever money is left over after taxes is going to go into your investing account. And 10% of whatever money is left over is going to go into your savings account. That means every month you're going to save $383 for an emergency. Every month you're going to put aside $575 to be invested to make you wealthy. And every month the most that you can spend is $2,875. Now I know what you're going to say. Jaspreet, how in the world do you expect me to live off of only $2,875? Well, here's what I want you to understand. You are paying the government more than $1,100 in taxes. That's the first thing that you do. And if you can pay the government this much money in taxes, you should be able to pay at least this much of your money to yourself to make yourself rich. This is making the government rich, this is making you rich, and I want you to make yourself rich. Because if the government tomorrow were to impose a new tax and raise your taxes by, we'll call it $900, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to kick, scream, complain, cry, and then figure out how to pay it, because what happens here is this money you don't even see. See, these taxes are taken out automatically. So you have to figure out how to live off of this amount of money because you don't get the $5,000. This is the money the government's taking without you even seeing it. And that's why I want you to essentially tax yourself, but this time make yourself rich. Create an automatic withdrawal and distribution. That way when you get paid, money is automatically put into your investment account. Money is automatically put into your savings account. That way you don't see it, kind of like a tax. But the difference here is you still have this money, and this savings money is there to protect you against an emergency. This is not there to buy you a house, to buy you a car, to buy you a Rolex. This is money there to protect you in case you lose your job, in case your business goes under, or in case something bad happens. That's what this is for. I want you to save somewhere between 3 to 12 months worth of expenses, depending on where you are in your life. If you're 25 years old, you're not married, you don't really have a lot of financial responsibilities or liabilities, maybe you only need 3 months worth of expenses. If you're 45 or 55, you got a family that's relying on you, you're not very tolerant to risk, then maybe you need 6, 9, or 12 months worth of expenses to make you feel comfortable. Once you have this money put aside, you stop saving this money, and then you reallocate this money here to your investments, because your investments are what is going to make you wealthy. Every wealthy person talks about how they became wealthy because they invested into something. They invested into a business. Maybe it was their own business. They invested into stocks. They invested into real estate. They invested into this asset which made them wealthy. It's not because they had a lot of money sitting in their savings account. You can't save your way to wealth. You have to invest your way to wealth. So you need to start by putting this money aside to invest. And this is the money that you live off of. Now you're going to say, well, Jaspreet, that is difficult. I can't live off of $2,800 a month. And maybe not based off of the current lifestyle, but this is where you're going to have to make a change. Either you're going to have to earn more money, or you're going to have to cut back on your lifestyle. Because the reality is, I'm going to be completely honest and just real with you. The reality is, if you spend every dollar that you earn, you're never going to have a chance to get rich. The government's going to get rich because they're going to tax you as soon as you get paid. But in order for you to get rich, you have to have money to invest. It's not going to happen if all of your money is going to your landlord, if all of your money is going to your bank, if all of your money is going to Gucci, if all of your money is going to restaurants and food and your clothes and everything else. You have no money to invest. Yeah, you're making Gucci rich, you're making Delta rich, you're making Hilton rich, you're making everybody else rich, but you're not making yourself rich. Every dollar you spend is a dollar somebody else earns. And I want you to put some money aside for yourself so you have money to spend on yourself. And when I say spend money on yourself, I don't mean buy yourself something nice. I mean buy yourself a nice investment that's going to keep paying you for the rest of your life. And this is where you got to start with the mental sacrifice. What are you going to do in order to get there? Because if you actually want to become wealthy, you have to have this. And you're going to say, well, it's easier if I made more money. Sure, but do you want to know the reality? More than half of Americans that are making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. That means they're putting aside no money to invest, no money to save every single month. It's not how much money we make, it's what we do with the money that we make. Now sure, if you make $200,000 a year, is it easier to save? Is it easier to invest? Absolutely. But when you're accustomed to a $300,000 a year lifestyle and you're making $200,000 a year, it's the same problem. We get addicted to a certain lifestyle, and so it's hard for us to downgrade. Can you rent an apartment within your means when you earn $200,000 a year? Absolutely. But you can do it here as well. And this is where you're going to have to be a little bit creative. And you got to figure out how you can fit your spending within this budget right here and not go into debt to continue funding your lifestyle. And let me be clear here. The goal isn't to live small so you can never enjoy life. The goal is to make some sacrifices for a limited period of your life. That way you can live the rest of your life financially free. But in order for you to be financially free, you can't just rely on the income from your salary, because what happens if you can't work? What happens if you get sick and you can't go to your job? What happens if your leg breaks and you can't go to your work? What happens if you lose your job? What happens if your company goes bankrupt? Then what? If you lose your salary, you lose your income and you lose the ability to afford your lifestyle. But real wealth is when you have money coming in from your money to fund your lifestyle. And that should be your goal. How can you invest your money more aggressively? Now you might say, well, Jaspreet, can't I work to increase my income? Absolutely. But the first step to seeing the most power from this increase in income is you got to know how to live below your means wherever you are right now. Because if you can't do this now, you won't be able to do this as you earn more money. And this has been statistically proven. The majority of Americans that are making six figures a year are living paycheck to paycheck broke because they don't know what to do with their money. As they make more money, they upgrade their lifestyle. We have lifestyle inflation in addition to the economic inflation, because when you get a paycheck, you got to celebrate with a new car or with a vacation to Cancun. And this is where start by learning to live below your means. Once you can do that sacrifice, now as you earn more money, well, now you can invest more money as well. You can spend more money as well, and you can save more money as well. And this is the beauty, because now you're working to earn more money while you're also investing more money. And the goal is ultimately to have the money that you make from your investments outpace the money you make from your job. And that might not happen tomorrow. That might not happen next year. That might not happen 5 years from now. It might not even happen in a decade. But if you stick with it, it will eventually happen, because now your investments, the money that your money is making you more money than the money you're working to earn. And now your job is just the icing on the cake. And now you can decide, do you want to go into work tomorrow, if you want to travel the world? But in order for you to get there, you have to make the sacrifices first. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.